Hi everyone, this is Basil MS Thinks. I'm Claire Jens. I'm here with my best friend, good friend, Gloria here. And today we've got a new guest, great guest, who's called Roula, who's here to talk about MS.
Hello. Do I look in here?
You can just talk to us. You can listen.
Oh,
It doesn't
okay.
matter. Yeah, just talk to us.
Chat and just shoot the breeze.
Yes. So maybe we'll get started as to how did you guys get connected?
That's a very good question because a friend of mine who's not my MS friend, actually she's a MS friend, I think she is, yeah.
Kirby?
Kirby,
Support worker.
support worker friend.
Yeah.
Met you, I think, on my way, and she said, you should talk to this girl. She's at MS and she lives nearby in Byron. So we met in the market.
On the phone?
On the phone, and here we are, chatting about
Yeah.
life.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes, so how do you know Kirby?
So my husband works with Kirby's husband,
Oh, nice.
and on New Year's Day we all.
Just this year?
This is it. Well, I met Kirby for the first time on New Year's Day, and I had already known that Kirby had worked with you because one time I met her husband, and he said, "Oh, you need to watch." He found out that I had MS too,
Yeah.
and he said, "You need to watch Hold My Hand." Hold my hand.
Take my hand.
Take my hand.
Yes.
Take my hand.
Yeah, close.
Yes, and then he said, "You got to watch her because it's all about Claire that lives up here, and my wife works with her, Kirby." And he said, I think you'll enjoy the movie." So at this stage, I just had my son, massive MS relapse, watched the movie, couldn't stop crying.
Oh dear.
And then
So that was only, how long ago was that?
Yeah.
so I watched the movie last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I met Kirby's husband last year face to face, but my husband had been working with him for a while.
Okay.
And then I met Kirby on New Year's Day, and then she said to me, because she said, "Would you want to have another child?" And because she met me, my two step kids who are brother sister, they're twins.
Oh.
And she met Rami, my child. Rami turns 2 in March.
Okay.
And then she said, "Would you have another child?" I said, "I would absolutely love to have another child.
Yeah.
But after what happened to me after having Rami,
Okay.
I can't do it to myself, and I can't do it to my child, and I can't do it to my family."
Okay.
Although my neurologist said, because I'm on new medication now, he'll guide me through it and it won't happen.
Where are you on now from?
I'm on Kesimpta.
Okay.
Do you know that one? It's an injection
Yeah.
once a month.
Yeah, I've heard that one too. I have not taken it myself, but I
Yeah.
think I yes. So it's working for you now?
Well, now it's working, yes.
Now.
Now it's working,
Not
yes.
before.
Well, I wasn't on it before.
You were no joke before.
I accidentally fell pregnant.
Love that,
on,
yes.
I've had MS for 18 years,
Wow, that's a long time.
since I was 22 years old.
Baby.
Since 2007, yeah.
Wow, okay.
So it my first symptoms were pins and needles in my feet, which started rising all the way up my legs. Within the first couple of weeks of this happening, I went to the GP. They said, "Oh, this should go away." I went back to the GP. Then they did a CT scan on my back. They thought it was a pinched nerve. And then they did so many tests, but no MRI. Now, then it started, the pins and needles were rising all the time, and the GP kept saying, "Look, come back, if it's still going, we'll have to work it out." By this point, it had been maybe 2 months, and it was getting more and more intense, and summer kicked in. So it was in my fingers, and I felt like I was going to have, I felt like the pins and needles were taking over my body and going over my heart. Then I had a panic attack.
Yeah.
And then I went to the hospital because I had a panic attack, and then they couldn't determine what it was.
Okay.
It was Christmas Day. Like, I'd been to the GP. Oh, yes, this is what happened. The last time I went to the GP was just before Christmas. And he said, "I've tried everything I can try. Your body will go back to normal. Now you're just complaining."
Oh,
Yes.
you poor thing.
That was so, and mind you, I was like 22 years old. And I'm like, I know my body.
Yeah.
You know your body? And I was like, what is going on?
Somewhere.
Christmas Day, I went to spend Christmas at my ex-boyfriend's house with my family and his family in Bright, in Bright in the country.
Yeah.
Beautiful place. It was 40 degrees that day. I woke up on Christmas Day and I could not see on my left eye.
Okay.
My pins and needles were extreme in my fingers. And then I said to my partner at the time, "I can't see, and it really hurts to move my painful." Like, it just felt like, there was a ball in there, and it was all black and fuzzy, and it was just really painful.
So scary too.
And then I said, "What am I going to do? Everyone's coming over today to the house to have Christmas."
Yeah.
And he said, "I'll take you to the local GP."
Because that. Wow.
Christmas Day, which one was open? He went on Google. This was years ago too. Yeah, he was a good partner. Went on Google, found the GP that was open. We went there on Christmas morning. She said, "Look, I know it's Christmas, but I advise that after lunch today, or if you want now, go back to Melbourne and go to the hospital because this needs a neurologist to check because this is a neurological issue going on in your eye." Yeah, optical neuritis.
Yeah.
And then I went back, I didn't tell anyone. I did not want to, I didn't want to,
Christmas Day.
I didn't want to ruin Christmas Day. And my whole family was there and his whole family was there. And it was beautiful that this is the first time we've spent Christmas together.
You were blind.
I was pretending everything was fine.
Oh my God.
We ended up waking up the next morning and going back to Melbourne. And then I went to the hospital and they said, we need to get a neurologist to come in. So I was at Footscray Hospital. Neurologist came in. They did an MRI. Good. 2 weeks later. Oh no! As soon as he saw my eye, he said, "This is optical neuritis. I can tell, but we need to do an MRI." And then, with the optical neuritis, he put me on steroids straight away.
Good.
So in like
IV.
IV steroids. And then 2 weeks later, my mum, my sister, myself, and my partner at the time went to the neurologist and he said, "I'm really sorry, this is what your brain looks like." And there were like so many lesions. I think at the time there was like 20 holes in my brain.
Whoa.
Like and he said, "This is multiple sclerosis." I was 22. 22, yeah, 22. So yeah, my mum was crying. I was like, "No, it's going to be okay."
I'm 22.
22, because in my head, I was like working at Red Bull. I was going to the gym. I
Red
was
Bull girl.
fit. I was a Red Bull girl. I'm like, this is not going to interfere in my life.
Good for you.
But because we had family friends that had MS, they were on wheelchairs.
Really? You're
My-
friends with?
Yes,
Okay.
and this woman was older too. She's probably my mum's age. She had 3 children, and she got diagnosed after her children. And she wasn't on a wheelchair, but she couldn't walk properly. And my mum thought, my mum thought the worst.
Yeah.
And then I just kept saying, she's older than me, and the neurologist kept saying, "There's new medication now."
And
You're lucky.
And I just thought,
That's
you know
so
what?
nice.
I was trying to console my mum and everyone.
Not yourself, her.
Which is so crazy.
Her. I did go home and have a massive teary,
100%.
but I didn't know too much about MS. I had to go do my own research.
Yeah, which is like almost a good thing. Yeah, because I feel like not knowing too much, but like your mum, if she knew someone, because it's different with everyone.
It is.
Yeah, you can just like pinpocket yourself, but every person's experience is different.
And I didn't realise that. And the only thing I knew about it was the MS Readathon, when you'd collect money.
Yeah,
And
that's what everyone else says.
that's the only thing I knew about MS.
Yeah, we all did that readathon and we all think, it looks like this faraway disease that no one gets.
No one gets.
But then we get it out. So we had this happen to us.
Exactly.
It seems so ironic, really.
I know, it is.
But it happens.
It does.
Not very. It's fair.
No, not fair.
No. You look great. You look awesome.
Yeah, you
You're
know.
still fun.
Thank
still,
you.
You still
Oh,
stay.
well, I'm trying to get back there now, because
good.
after I had my child,
Yes.
something very extreme happened.
Yeah, tell us about your experience with pregnancy and
and baby.
So when I got diagnosed with the MS, I realized that the more I stressed at work, if I had a highly stressful job, I'd get a relapse, and the relapse would consist of my leg. I would shuffle the right leg.
Yeah.
So I had maybe three relapses within 2 years in the right leg.
Yeah.
I had 2 optical neuritises.
Yeah.
And then when I was doing a highly stressful job, being a national event manager for 3 Mobile and Vodafone,
Okay.
wow.
in the business sales team,
Yeah.
organising events for all the business crew nationally,
Wow.
I started relapsing more, the stress, because I'd go to bed and I'd be like, did I do this? Did I complete this? Did I organise, the bus? Did I organise the tour? Did I, add this person? Did I do the Excel spreadsheet? Like, it was
So tiring on your brain.
tiring on my brain. And then, then I relapsed more, and the relapses were getting in my face and in my arm.
Yeah.
And
How
then
old were you at this point?
at this point, I was 29, 30.
Okay, yeah.
And then by the time I was 31, I'd had a few relapses in the leg, in my arm, and numbness in the face. And my neurologist said, maybe it's time to change your job.
You were lucky as girl never told you that.
Well, he said to me, I feel like the job that you've got now, you've relapsed the most,
Yeah.
over this
It was
period
clear.
of time.
Yeah.
And then he said, just maybe take a year off or something and do something more easy on the body that doesn't use brain power.
Okay.
And at this point, I think the last MRI I had, I started with 20 lesions, then it went up to like 25. So then I just took a few years off. And I just enjoyed time at home with my parents. And my dad was a painter, painting houses.
Yes.
So then one day I said, you know what? How about I come and do this with you?
Good on you.
Wow.
So then I painted houses with him for about a year, but like not every day.
No, it's
No
good on
stress.
Australian
I felt like it was therapeutic.
Yeah.
And then from there, I thought, all right, maybe I should do personal training. So I did a personal training course.
That's cool.
And then from there, I just randomly ended up like looking after children. So just through my friends.
You like privately?
Through my friends. And
Yeah.
I feel like looking after children was so good for me. So yeah, I did like a few working with children's courses and like a childcare course, like just a 6-month one.
Yeah.
And then from there, I got into just nannying through word of mouth. Just through word of mouth. Babysitting, nannying was great.
Such a good job. I've done a lot of it.
Such a good job. Yeah, and I touch wood from the age of 31 to
How old are you now?
I'm 42.
You look good.
The age from 31 to 40, I didn't relapse.
Wow.
Because
you guys have it's similar.
I think
Very similar.
yeah.
Because you relapsed badly for years.
For years. But hospital at the time, really bad. Like
Was yours through stress?
well, see, you can't, in England you couldn't say that exactly, but it was. But I think the people don't like to say it because they just kind of just makes you get insurance things or something like that. It's kind of it was stress because my job was very stressful. When I was stressed, I'm not much sick. And also, I argued a lot. My husband and I argued a lot, and healthy. My MS was pretty bad for the first. No medication. None of that. I was on drugs that didn't really work for me. It was called like interferon things with horrible drugs. Compared to now, it was just not good drugs. They didn't work very well, and I'm really sick as well. So both things are bad. So I had illnesses for how long? For fortnight. I forget the
I'm having a tired day today.
I have a tired day. My brain's very dull.
But don't worry, I get it. I get brain fog.
That thing, I get a brain fog. I can't even speak. I can't speak.
You would have from the 90s to for now. You probably would you say you haven't had any sort of relapse for about 10 years?
Since Mark died.
Yeah. And so that was 2013.
He died 2013.
Yeah, so now it's 2026, so over 10 years.
Yeah,
and then you've had it for 26 years. I think.
This is 1999.
Yeah.
How long is that? 20 years.
I'm not good with numbers,
I
but
can't do math.
between 1999 and 2013, how many do you think you had attacks?
In England, I think so.
Just between when Mark died and from when you were diagnosed?
Oh gosh. I'd say 20?
Yeah.
Like,
and then since after he's passed away, between now,
None.
Yeah, which was similar to you, that age, different age period, but that time period.
If you say that alcohol, that's a big change, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it could be that the drugs are way better now.
Can I ask you both, is when you were having those flare-ups and the attacks constantly, even though it's been quite a while, is there still a piece of you that has fear that it'll happen again?
Since having my child, yes.
Yeah, you have to tell us that story.
Yeah.
And for you, Claire, do you have a fear?
I'm not now because the drugs I'm on now and the fact that my life is so different now. I'm in the countryside with my dog being very peaceful and quiet. I feel like I've done a complete 180 in life, so I'm not stressed at all now.
That's good.
But and the drugs I'm on now are awesome. I'm on a drug called Covax. I'm on Octopus now. It's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, right. You were asking.
And yes, so tell us the story of your pregnancy and what happened afterwards.
So before I got pregnant, I was nannying some children up in Byron, and then I met my husband, who I knew from Melbourne years ago. So we just rekindled, and I had been single for 5 years, and I just thought, as soon as I finish, being with this family, when I go back to Melbourne, I'm just going to get a toy poodle. And
the dream.
And
toy boy.
get a really cute little apartment in In Elwood, I love Elwood.
Oh, it was nice, yeah.
Because I live with my parents in Williamstown.
Okay, yeah.
So, and I always needed the extra help from my parents because I get really fatigued with MS.
Yeah.
So I sleep a lot. Like I was sleeping. So if I was to go get a full-time job, I wouldn't be able to carry it.
Yeah. Do you sleep in the day? Do you have a rest in the day?
When my son sleeps now, yes, I have to sleep in the day.
Yeah,
Have to. But yeah, before I had my son, I would sleep 12, 13 hours every single night. And sometimes I'd sleep in the day if I was like,
Yeah.
watching a movie.
Sleep in the day.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
just fall asleep.
You have to. It's not a quadruple.
Yeah, that's something. I feel like fatigue is my number one thing.
That's true.
which is
issue.
such a battle. I can't even imagine.
You can't even describe it.
You can't-
Yeah, there
You
is.
just say things to you, oh, I get tired too. There's
No, I can't
different
even
tired.
imagine.
There's different tired.
There is different tired.
You're
There
tired
is.
because you're tired because you had not enough sleep, but I'm tired because I can't physically move.
Yes, exactly. And then if you can't physically move, you can't, like, I feel like,
How can you
can't work?
navigate
How am I
a
supposed
day?
to work? Yeah,
Job. I'll give you a job. Put it away.
It's the thing. If I was to get a job, like doing something, and I'm like, oh, I'm always tired, you know, or oh, the fatigue's kicked in. I can't move right now. I
It
need to
feels so debilitating. I can imagine.
It is. It's debilitating.
Yeah,
It
because
is.
you're kind of trapped in that. You can't really do anything except sleep.
I mean,
Exactly.
you're lazy. You're not lazy.
No, it's not.
Not
That's,
being
that's,
lazy.
and I've never, like, before I got diagnosed with
You
MS,
don't seem
I
like
was never lazy. I'm not a
You
lazy
seem like an
person.
Energizer bunny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I agree.
even with my talking, I'm an energized bunny.
Yeah.
And I love people.
Mm.
But then, yes, so then
Then you see it.
I met my partner, and when I was it was his 40th birthday, and he's like, oh, look, we're going to go skydiving in Melbourne. And then, well, I've never been skydiving before. So he took me skydiving. When I jumped off, there was a massive sign at the front saying, marry me, Roula, landing,
God,
at the landing.
that's
So that was,
Oh my gosh,
that
that's
was,
so good.
it was different.
It's fun.
And also,
That's unique.
So you were jumping out of the
I
sky,
was-
like, what the fuck?
but no,
You're jumping out of the other plane, fell on the ground.
well, this is what happened. I was, you know, when you go skydiving, it's
How'd you go?
I've never been. This is my first time,
Okay.
and probably my last.
Yeah.
So because I was very nervous.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, it was nerve wracking.
Yeah.
So we jumped, like, we went on the plane, and everyone that went on was in a couple, like a mother daughter, a husband and wife, a brother, like, you know, a couple.
Twos.
And then
Yeah.
everyone was in twos, but Ollie was at the very front, and they put me at the back with my instructor. So Ollie's at the front with his instructor. Everyone's with their instructor, but behind each other.
Yeah.
And then Ollie goes first. I didn't think anything of it. It didn't even click. I didn't. I was like, and then at the very end, I watched everyone jump. So I was like,
No.
oh goodness gracious me, how am I going to do
Just
this?
waiting for your
Waiting.
the doom.
And it was, and everyone was jumping up, so excited. And then my instructor's like, "You seem really nervous. Don't worry." He goes, "I do this every day, 100 times a day." He goes, "I've taken all my kids. Just grab onto me. You'll be fine."
What a good guy.
Yeah.
So I grabbed onto him. Within the first minute of free falling, I couldn't breathe. And
I've heard that.
and he said, "If you can't breathe, just like pretend to scream." And then I went, and he goes, "You'll be able to breathe as soon as the parachute goes down." Now, for the first
I
minute,
don't like that. I don't like that.
I
Didn't breathe.
couldn't breathe. It's like I couldn't breathe.
I don't like that.
I didn't like that either.
That's what I'm saying.
And then as soon as he let the parachute down, I went,
Whoa.
I could breathe.
Okay.
And
you
then-
saw the ground.
Then it was such a hot day. It was a beautiful day in Melbourne. It was like New Year's. I was his birthday, January 7th.
Oh, okay.
So on his birthday, January 7th, like a 37 or 8 degree day.
Yeah.
That's so
And
beautiful.
I felt like I was flying at this point. I could see Luna Park, I could see Elwood, I could see the
Oh,
city,
beautiful.
all my favourite areas.
Aw.
And then he was saying to me, he goes, "Look, that's the city, that's this, that's that, blah, blah, blah. Now, I need to tell you something. When you land, you've got to keep your feet up to protect your feet."
Yeah.
And he's like, "But I'm going to tell you," and he kept going, "I'm going to tell you where the strip is of landing, and you have to look up and you've got to concentrate."
Okay.
And I'm like,
He had a
"Okay."
mission.
He had a mission, and I thought to myself, "Oh my God, why is he freaking me out? Is something going to happen to my legs?" So I was like on alert.
Yes.
I've got to listen, and I've got to put, and he said, "Keep your legs up because we're going down."
Okay.
Anyway, and then he goes, "Okay, can you see that landing strip there?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "All right, I need you to look closer now and look in front of the landing strip and look down." So by this point, I had no anxiety. It was all good. I was like flying in Melbourne. And then I looked down at the landing strip. Then I look across. I'm like, "What?" And I couldn't breathe again. I'm like, "What?" I couldn't breathe because it
It's a good
said,
story.
"Marry me, Roula," on this massive white sign. And
I love
and And I thought, is he like, what is going on? So first he makes me jump off an aeroplane, and then he gives me another heart attack reading this.
And it's the perfect place to do it because his seemingly nerves would have been like, oh, we're going skydiving, he's nervous.
And he's a like my husband is like
Nervous Nelly?
a nervous introvert. So I was like,
So he would have been so nervous
So
to
he-
drop the knee. I thought, what a perfect way to cover nerves.
Yeah.
exactly.
Love it.
And then he
Smart.
did, and he could like obviously he did it because I couldn't say no because then there was a big crowd of people.
Smart, yeah,
People
smart.
were watching. His friends were there.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay. Then he goes, all right, we're landing. And then we land, and I kept thinking about my legs. I'm like, well, I better keep my legs up.
Yeah.
But then as soon as we landed, I couldn't get up because I was so nervous.
Oh, darn.
And then
A bit shocked.
yeah, I was in shock.
And where was he man at this point? Was he near
No,
the side?
so
Had to be?
at this point, the instructor lifted me up, and then I walked over, and he was waiting for me.
Great, yeah.
And then he hugs me, gets down on his knee in
Oh.
front of everyone, and proposes. And I was like, and he goes, so? And I'm like,
Oh, that's such a good story. That's a really good story.
yeah. So that was, yeah. And then I thought, and I go, no wonder why we weren't sitting next to each other. And
Get prepared.
all the men, like all the instructors, all knew what was going on. They all knew the cue. They knew what was going on, except for
Very
me.
in on the story.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, that's so
So
fun.
we got engaged,
Yeah.
and I left Melbourne the following month, and I moved to Alstonville.
Yes.
He lived
Oh,
in
wow, okay.
Alstonville.
Yeah.
So I moved into Alstonville with him, and then that was in February. Then in June, I found out I was pregnant. Now, so from what my neurologist had said to me, if you want to get pregnant, I've been on 3 different types of MS medications.
Yeah.
The first one, there was Cymbalta, Fingolimod, and it was Cymbalta and Fingolimod. So 2 first.
Yeah.
I'm on the 3rd one now.
Okay.
And then he said to me, you'll need to detox for 3 months before trying to have a child.
Oh.
Now, we've only been engaged since February. We discussed a wedding for later in November to be like a wedding in Melbourne. And then, and being my nationality, I was thinking, yes, we're going to have a big wedding, you know.
So fun.
Lebanese drums. It's going to be amazing.
Okay.
Then I found out I was pregnant. And then
Okay.
You were still on the meds.
I was still on the medication.
Happened to Claire too.
Okay, yeah,
Still on the
yeah,
medication.
Yeah.
And then I called my neurologist straight away. And then he said, okay, don't freak out. You need to come back to Melbourne. I need to guide you through this, but you need to stop taking the medication.
Yeah, definitely.
And then he said, you're going to, in the first trimester, you'll be detoxing off the medication. So not only will you be feeling the first trimester of being pregnant, but you'll also be feeling the detoxification of 18 years worth of medication. Well, at this point, I think it was 16 years.
Okay. Wow.
So then I went to Melbourne
Yeah.
and saw the GP, saw the neurologist, and then he put me through to talk to, what's the women's hospital there? The
Well, women.
the Royal Women's.
Yeah.
And then with the Royal Women's Hospital, I had like 3 different doctors call me, and these doctors said to me, now your medication, Fingolimod, that's only been out for 10 years. And in the last 10 years, only 30 women have continued on to carry their baby because
They're bought.
so these 3 doctors all said, we give you an option, but we recommend that you terminate because only half the women that carried the babies had okay babies, but the rest had heart failure.
Oh.
The women or the babies?
The children had
So damages the child.
the damages to the child.
Oh dear.
Oh my
So
god.
at this point, I thought, oh God, what am I going to do?
How do you make a decision?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, it's giving me goosebumps
know,
right now.
it's
Like, it was awful.
That's a horrible thought.
And then I spoke to my neurologist about it, and my neurologist said, listen, I'm going to be with you step by step.
You have an amazing neurologist.
My neurologist, if it wasn't for my neurologist,
Who is-
he's Dr. Michael Poon.
No.
Yeah, Dr. Michael Poon, he works from Footscray. And well, he used to work in Williamstown, where I was from.
Yeah.
So, but then he moved his practice to Footscray.
Okay.
And he said, I will guide you through the whole process. He goes, listen, I'm not going to tell you your child's not going to come out with, some children come out with 9 fingers, not 10.
Oh.
He goes, everyone, no, not with MS, just in life.
Yeah.
In life.
Yeah.
He goes, so what these doctors are telling you, they're pre-warning you
themselves too.
and they're prepping themselves. He goes, but some of these women that continued were still taking medication. I'm stopping you from the medication.
Yes, why?
And if anything's going to happen, it's going to happen to you, not your child. However, in saying that, I can't be 100% positive that nothing's going to happen to you. Anything can happen. He could come out with, like, he'd make an example of 9 fingers instead of 10.
Yeah.
Or, you know, he could come out with, you know, maybe a lump
extra.
over here, an extra,
Yeah.
you know, he goes, and then he made a joke. Maybe he's going to come out with 3 eyes. He goes, so,
Awesome.
and then he said, doctors aren't always accurate.
No.
Okay.
And then I'm a big believer in God too. So I was like, well, I feel like this has been sent to me.
Yeah, you got to go with your
Like,
gut.
I'm
in
going to
these
go, and my gut
situations.
feeling was telling me,
Yeah.
Keep.
I'm going to keep it.
Good.
And I'm in good hands. And he said to me, you need to have the child in Melbourne, and you need to stay in Melbourne after the child. And I'm going to be sending you to the Royal Women's in the last trimester, like
What,
th-
full time?
three, 4 times a week to
Okay.
get to just to be monitored.
Yes,
So there was a
guys.
lot of monitoring.
Okay.
So the first trimester was shocking. I wasn't myself. It's like I was like some entity came in me. It was,
Oh, Roula, okay.
yeah, there was like, you know, there was not a lot of vomiting, but there was, it's like I was like hallucinating,
Okay,
loopy,
wow.
And the
tired.
mix of the detox and the first trimester, like, it sounds
A
like
lot of
hectic.
Detoxing first trimester. Come second, third, fourth trimester,
awesome.
I don't know what happened to me. I was awesome.
Yeah.
We even
Love to.
went to Japan for 2 weeks, and I walked all of Japan.
It's the pregnancy and MS stories, they just, they
Always-
blow my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I still needed a nap every single day walking,
Right.
but
Enough.
even during
walking.
pregnancy,
You could be walking.
but I was still walking.
Yeah.
Oh, you would have felt so good.
I felt really good.
Yeah, everything's good. Yeah.
It was good.
Wow.
Then the baby came along. Now there's two. I don't know if we've got time for this, but
Yeah, we got time.
okay. I mean, so when the baby was coming, I was 39 and a half weeks pregnant, and I was at this point in the last month. I was at the hospital 3 times a week, and they kept monitoring me extra because my baby was so small.
Okay.
And then
But
they
you're small.
Yeah, but also, like, other people are really small too, but they were like extra monitoring.
Okay.
They said to me, your baby is very small, so you're going to have to come in extra. So I was there 3-4 times a week in there. I felt like I needed to build a tent
there.
in there and just live there.
Okay.
I love you. I'm loving your storytelling. It's just like really.
It was
Good
extra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then towards the end, there was an obstetrician that said, okay, now you're 39 and a half weeks pregnant, you've got multiple sclerosis, and you're 40 years old, we need to induce you.
Okay.
And then I said, okay, I said, I don't know, I've got intuition that he's not ready to come out yet. I found out he was a boy too.
Yes, right here.
So I didn't want to find out what the baby was, but this is another story too. I ended up having a massive 40th birthday, and then because my husband threw me out of an airplane, I said, right, I'm going to embarrass you in front of my 100 people that are here, because I thought I'm celebrating my 40th, my engagement, and we eloped and we got married,
Wow.
and then the baby. And it was a massive party in Melbourne.
Good.
And then I made him pop a massive balloon to see what the baby was on my 20 weeks. So I turned 40 and then it was his 20 weeks. So he ended up getting really embarrassed and popping the balloon in front of
I
everyone.
love that.
Yeah, so that was
He deserves that.
So I knew it was a boy.
Okay.
And then I said, I feel like he's not ready to come out. And then they said, oh, no, you know how they tell you to walk to get the baby out, to walk one high step and like walk on the footpath.
I've had a baby.
I read all these things. Apparently you're supposed to.
Still work?
No. So I was doing all this stuff, and then they said, oh, we want to induce you like today. And I said, can you just do like something organic first? Like do a stretch and sweep or something. I don't want to do the induction. I want to give a natural birth.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah. And then I wish I had fought more though. And then they did a stretch and sweep. They sent me home. That didn't work.
Okay.
And then they let me come in the next day. They said, we need you to come in the next day. We'll try. If this doesn't work overnight, we're going to put a balloon inside. And if the balloon pops, like the baby should dilate.
Oh, they do a lot of things.
They do all these things.
Yes.
The stretch and sweep didn't work. So this is all natural with no medication.
All right.
And then
Not nice though.
No, not nice. Then they left me in the hospital overnight with the balloon inside. The next day, the obstetrician came to to see if I had dilated.
Okay.
No dilation.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay.
And then by this point, they said, right, we're going to induce you. And then I said, I don't want to get induced. I said, I'm going to be 40 weeks in 4 days.
Yeah.
I'll let you induce me on my 40 weeks. I promise. On 40 weeks, you can induce me.
Yeah.
I said, my baby's not ready. Like the roast is not ready.
Not cooked.
No, not cooked.
Not cooked. No.
And then they said, wait here. They put me in a room with a nurse.
Yeah.
They went and called 3 obstetricians.
Yeah.
Pulled a man and 2 women. They put me in that room and then they said, we're so sorry, but you need to stay here tonight. We're going to induce you today.
And I hate that because it's
And
like your
they
mother's
forced it.
intuition.
And they forced it. And they said, I said, why? And my husband said, why can't we just come back when she's ready? If she's going to start having contractions, I'll bring her back in.
Yeah, exactly.
And then all 3 of them said, they put this thing on, you know how they were monitoring.
Yeah.
Your baby's too small. She's 40. She's got MS. She's extra criteria. She needs to be induced today.
Okay.
And then I felt like I was coerced into getting.
Sorry that happened
Yeah,
to
you
you.
were. Yeah.
You're not the only one.
Oh yeah. After this happened, I've heard so many stories.
You do.
I didn't know. I felt like I was cornered, and I didn't know any better. I thought, oh, maybe what the doctors, the professionals are saying is true.
Yeah.
Then they induced me.
Yeah.
I do not recommend an induction. The induction was disgusting.
Yeah.
Like within the first hour, I went from me being all pepped up and okay, like I had the best pregnancy, to going, oh my God, like it was like intense, bang, bang, bang,
And imagine for
rushing.
baby, I was induced. Mum was like, she just got the drugs and went to sleep. But I thought, you forced me out, and I was not ready.
See,
Pissed me off.
that's the thing. Like I felt like I was, getting.
Imagine being in the little room and then all these drugs come in, going, what the hell?
Exactly, and they kept saying he's so small. Why induce me with such a tiny baby? I can't
handle
handle
it.
it.
Not big enough.
He's not big enough. Exactly.
grow,
You need to grow more. Then I said, I can't do this. I can't. The pain was extra. So they went and put an epidural. So they gave me an epidural.
That's good.
And 5 hours. And then in that 5 hours, I watched a movie, chatted. It was good. I was chill.
I agree.
Then all of a sudden, I was in shock horror. The nurse said, okay, I've got to stop. And then all these 20 doctors ran in.
Oh no.
And then when they all ran in, they're like, sorry, bang, bang, bang. They were putting all this medication in my legs.
Whoa.
And I was like, and then this medication made me, I said, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? They said, so sorry, your baby's heart rate has completely dropped. We need to stop the machine and we need this to stop, like to bring the heart rate back to normal.
Okay.
But whatever they put in me, like it's anxiety.
Okay.
I was shaking. My whole body was shaking.
Oh.
And then they said, we're going to come back in 40 minutes and see how you are. But for now, we need to stop everything. But all these 20 doctors walked in. It was so intense. Like I was sitting there chilled watching a movie. But because I was getting monitored on the monitoring screen with the nurse, it went through to them. They were seeing the heart rate drop.
Okay, yeah.
So they stopped the machine. These 20 doctors walked out.
Okay.
45 minutes we were sitting there. Then the nurse that was in charge, she said, I'm so sorry, there's going to be a new lot of doctors that are going to barge in because your baby's heart rate is still dropping, and now they're going to tell you to go do a emergency C-section.
Okay.
So then they all walked in again and they went to put that same thing in my leg. And I said, please don't give me that medication, please. Because that medication made me feel so
I mean,
sick.
mum's not feeling okay. Baby's not going to be feeling okay.
Well, exactly. And this medication that they just smash in here, it was full on. Like it was
awful.
heart racing.
And you don't even know what it is.
I didn't know what it was. And then they threw this outfit at my husband. They go, you need to get changed. We need to go. Take her earrings off. Take her rings off. They didn't have time to take anything off. So they were sticky taping it. I was freaking out. Like I thought that I was crying. I was shaking. I had the nurses were next to me, and one doctor was patting my hair saying, I'm so sorry, you're going to be fine, you're going to be fine. I'm this person. They were all introducing themselves to me. One was a doctor, one was I don't know, one was, and I think all of them.
Yeah.
And then they took me in the lift, took me down.
Yeah.
And my husband, we can't start till your husband's here. Husband came in, held my hand.
Yeah.
And then they were cutting me. And I could feel everything.
You could?
I could feel everything.
But you had the epidural?
I had the epidural. And then I said, stop. They go, what? I go, I can feel you slicing me. They go, what can you feel? I go, I can feel, what's this? I go, that's really sharp. And then they go, we don't have time for this. We don't have time. Your baby's dying.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
So, and then they said, we don't have time. We've got no time. And then they said, they go, what's this? I go, that's really, so they were doing a hot and cold test on me.
Okay, yes.
And I could feel the hot heat and I could feel the ice. I can feel all this. They go, oh, okay, we don't have time to give you more drugs. We need to knock you out and we need to take your baby out.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then they said, he can't stay here. And he's like, why can't I stay here? My husband, they said, because you'll probably faint when we do this thing. We don't have time to look after you and her.
Oh my
So
God,
you need to get
it's
out.
like a movie.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like during this time,
Horror movie.
I was holding on to this woman and I go, am I going to die? And then she said, you're not going to die. You're in good hands.
Oh.
Oh, that's nice.
So I was freaking out.
Yeah.
And because the amount of feelings I was feeling and the pain, it was ridiculous.
Drugs and
So
everything.
the epidural didn't work then?
The epidural, well, it worked for that first 5 hours. And then,
Oh, no, it's still, they're giving you more.
but they said there wasn't enough time to give me more. So at this point, they gave me something and I was gone,
Oh, okay.
knocked out.
Knocked out, okay.
I was knocked out for 8 hours.
Oh,
Yeah, ages. So
wow. Hey, baby come out in that process.
they took the baby out. So
And you were out cold then?
I was out cold.
Oh, my word.
And then when I woke up, I couldn't feel my legs. I was like, "What's happening? I can't feel my legs." They're like, "That's all the drugs." But that gave me a rush of anxiety.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, I was trying to lift my legs and I couldn't.
Yeah.
Um,
And the baby's gone. Like,
and then I said, "Where's my baby?" They're like, "We're going to take you up to your baby now, and he's with your husband."
Oh,
Good.
Luckily, they, what's that stuff called that comes out of your the breast?
Oh, the first.
The first.
Is it the first bit?
The first bit, the
Yeah.
colostrum.
Yes. Yes.
So they had said to me within the 5 days prior, please, you've got colostrum now. We suggest you take it out and put
Before
it
you give birth.
before you give birth.
Yeah.
Put them in the tubes. How lucky though.
Oh, wow.
So I had, and you have to write the date and put the tubes in the freezer.
Okay.
And they said you bring them to the hospital when you're going to give birth because that's the first thing we'll give your baby. It's very good for the child.
Yeah.
So I had about 6 tubes of colostrum that my husband was
freezer at
doing
home.
in the free. And then my husband brought them and gave them to the hospital, and they had them in their freezer.
Good.
So when I got to the room, my husband was feeding the baby colostrum. The baby's name is Rami, by the way. Rami.
Yeah.
And then so I got there, but I was so I couldn't hold. Like, Rami,
You were nervous. You were shaking.
Ollie went to give me the baby, but I was shaking so much and I couldn't feel my legs and I was crying and I couldn't. I was very shaky. And then they said, we need to give you something to calm down.
Okay.
So they gave me something and
Valium?
I fell asleep. I don't even know what they gave me.
Fell asleep.
I fell asleep again.
Okay.
And then when I woke up, my husband's on my right side, the baby was there, and then and I was okay. I could feel my legs.
Good.
And then I could feel my hands weren't shaking. And then I started crying. I'm like, can I hold him? And then he gave me him. And straight to, this gives me goosebumps now. He latched onto my breast straight away.
Wow. Good
And
boy.
he latched straight away. And then,
So nice.
and then the nurse walks in and she goes, hold on a second. I was meant to be the one to put him on your breast.
but you did yourself.
He just did it himself.
Oh,
and then, so
good.
that was amazing.
Thank God at least that went right for you.
So that went well.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
there's more.
Okay.
The next day, the surgeon that performed the surgery on me came in and she said, now I need to apologize to you both. And I said, and then I didn't know this.
Yeah.
When my son was born, he was born, he wasn't breathing.
Okay.
He was unconscious and he was blue.
Oh, good.
So they took him out and they gave him to my husband. And then they said, code blue, he's not breathing.
Yeah.
So they had to do the code blue and resuscitate him in front of my husband.
Oh,
So my husband has been traumatized
Ever sick?
ever sick, the whole time. And then he was giving Rami the colostrum and he was traumatized. Then she said, I'm very sorry, that should never have happened. We shouldn't have taken him in to your husband like that. We should have called the code blue or red, whatever they call it.
Good that they apologized.
Before that. And then she said another thing, usually after you do a C-section, it takes 6 to 8 weeks to heal. Yours is going to take double the time because your baby was stuck under your abs.
Oh.
and we had to cut your left side abdominals in half, re-stitch them and re-stitch you up.
Oh, good Lord.
So your healing process is
longer.
going to take longer.
Oh.
So at this point, because I was on so many drugs, I was like,
Yeah,
oh, I'll be
no big deal,
fine,
no
I'll
big
be
deal.
fine, no big deal, no big deal. Yeah.
Big deal.
That was a big, yeah.
deal. Yeah.
So that was the hospital, that was how Rami came.
Okay. Wow.
It was very stressful.
Yeah.
And at this point, because I'd been injected with so much medication,
Yes.
the last thing I wanted to try was a whole brand new drug of MS.
Yes.
And then, so my neurologist had said to me, I need you to take Kesimpta the day after you have your child, and you can breastfeed on Kesimpta.
Oh, okay.
However, at this point, I was so, at the time I thought, I don't want to harm my baby.
Yeah. And you
And
probably
I was
felt
sca-
so good for so long. You're like, I'll be right.
I'll be right. And I also thought, I've never taken this drug before. What if something happens to me?
Yeah.
So can I just at least breastfeed my child for the first 4 weeks and then I'll take the drug?
Yeah.
So I told my neurologist that, and he goes, look, this drug doesn't kick in for 2 months, but I suggest you take it.
Shit.
But I didn't take it. I didn't.
You told him you didn't
I told him that I didn't, but I didn't take it for the first 3 weeks.
Okay.
And after 3 weeks, I thought, you know what,
Better start.
my head, I better take it. So then I took it, and then 3 weeks after that, because my husband's got twins that live in New South Wales. So my husband was with me for the first 6 weeks after having Rami, and I had had the cesarean, so he was helping me with all the food, with everything. I didn't do anything. My parents also in Melbourne, that my mum was bringing food over every day. Very lucky. Then 6 weeks after, I was at my parents' house, and my husband went back to New South Wales. So 3 weeks after I had him, I'd taken the Kesimpta. Now, Kesimpta doesn't work for the first 2 months anyway.
Okay.
So that's why I thought, is it going to be an issue if I breastfeed for the first month without taking the Kesimpta?
Yeah.
Now, 6 weeks after having him, I was at my parents' house, and my baby was crying. I was asleep, and it was probably only 8 p.m. or something, even earlier, maybe 7 or 8 p.m. My sister came in. My sister was there. My dad was there. My brother was there, and my mum was there too. But my sister comes in. She's like, "Wake up!" And I woke up, and she goes, "Oh my!" Like there was something wrong with my face.
Oh dear.
And I woke up, and my brother and my dad had walked in, and it's like I had a stroke. So I slurred my words. I couldn't speak properly, and I couldn't move my right arm.
Okay.
And then they called the ambulance, and they said, we think, because I couldn't communicate, and they said, I think she's had a stroke. And then the ambulance came. The ambulance also said, we think she's had a stroke. So the ambulance took myself, my brother, and my dad to the hospital.
Where's baby?
Baby stayed with my mum.
Okay.
Although I was breastfeeding at the time.
So what's baby eating?
So then my mum had to, my mum and my brother had to go, my sister had to go get the baby formula.
Oh.
And I hadn't given him formula.
Ever.
So this
Poor
was,
Rami.
poor Rami, first time formula, and his mum's not there.
Yeah, he did that.
But yeah, so then I had to go to the hospital, and then because of all the medication I had taken, the kidneys had completely dried out.
Oh.
So then I had to go on more medication to stop the kidneys from drying out.
Yeah.
And then
Dangerous, your kidneys drying out.
Exactly. It's so dangerous, kidneys drying out from.
And you're breastfeeding.
And I'm
you're-
breastfeeding. Yeah, so there was so much. I'm sorry this story is so
No,
long. It's like even me talking.
It would be, yeah.
It's been a journey.
A real journey.
Push come to shove, the neurologist came, and then he said, so I couldn't, at this point, I couldn't feel my legs, and I kept falling over. He goes, you need to go to another hospital, and you need to go on 100 milligrams of steroids. And then he said, you can take your son and breastfeed him. And in my head, I'm like,
What if I fall over?
I can't hold my child. I couldn't move. So I lost feeling in my whole right arm.
Okay.
No feeling, and I lost feeling in both legs.
Were you using wheelchair at this point?
So at this point, I didn't even know. My brother was holding me. I was in the bed at the hospital. Then I kept falling over. So then they got me a wheelchair.
Very good.
So then I was in hospital for that week on 100 milligrams
With
of
Rami.
steroids.
With Rami too?
No,
Rami.
Rami stayed with my mum.
Oh, okay.
Thank gosh for your family.
Thank
Yeah,
God for my
yeah,
family. Thank
yeah.
God for my family. Literally.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for my family, I'd like.
Rami would be.
What would
something.
I can't even imagine.
I can't even imagine. So then my mum was feeding Rami formula. I was in hospital for that week. I couldn't put two words together. Being on this medication, it makes you like, I was psycho. I didn't even know how to explain it. Probably psycho is not a good word, sorry. I was hallucinating.
Okay.
I wasn't speaking English.
Oh my
So what the neurologist had said to my husband, right, now Roula's had a child, her brain is on fire. The inflammation rose up to my brain from having the baby. So the MS had like completely knocked out my central nervous system.
Okay.
And the drugs, the steroids, she needs to take 100 milligrams in the first week. Then there's these tablets that go down from 100 to 60 to 50 to 40 to down to 5.
Okay.
So every week I changed the medication, but I couldn't understand any of this stuff. So he had to give everything in, like he had to write it all down to my husband and give all the drugs to him. And my husband had to be my doctor for that. So my husband ended up giving his children to his ex-wife, their mum.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then he came and stayed with me and my parents at my parents' house. So I at my parents' house, and Rami was there too.
Yeah.
So at this point, I couldn't walk. So by the time I got home, after the 100 milligrams of steroids in the hospital, they started the medication.
Kazimba?
Kazimta I have to take once a month.
Okay.
But the steroids.
Okay.
So the steroids was like the milligrams were going down weekly.
Okay.
But I couldn't make sense of anything.
Okay.
Because the no sleep, the steroids, the inflammation, having the baby, the not being able to hold my arm not working, me on a wheelchair. I couldn't go have a shower by myself.
Were you really scared?
I was
Fight or flight.
I didn't even know. I
scared.
wasn't. I wasn't Roula.
You're just like trying to.
It's like the whole. It wasn't me, and apparently I was very. I don't remember this time because I was very angry. Because of the medication, because you're not sleeping. So
Tired.
the tiredness, the medication, like